Namo Butsu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, in whichever realms of existence you are, whatever mind states you're in, whatever conditions you're in. As always, welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Ocean of the Vow. I am, of course, your host, Shaku Gankai. And for part two of my dream of the five wisdom Dakinis. I hope you'll enjoy. I hope you will experience some semblance of the power, the thunder, the power, and the wisdom of the five Dakinis. Of course, under the auspices and through the power of Amitabha in the West. Um, and Amida Buddha, rather, um, if you like. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I've got some fun things I've done in this second half, so have a look. Do blue Dakini, blue activity. So Vajra Dakini, uh, blue activity. Blue Dakinis and deities are about subjugating, and subjugating any anger or illness or any negativity. For example, the famous blue medicine Buddha is about suppressing disease and ill health. Wrathful black Manjushri is an even more wrathful activity of suppressive healing. Blue Dakini in the East is the activity of suppressing any negativity. So, and then I'll discuss the dream. So the dream that I had, my dream character was actually distressed in this dream. I was walking up this kind of path. It was a public path. I get the sense it was an urban area, but a kind of park, kind of historic park kind of place. In this urban area or and there was a kind of remember there was a kind of wall, large historic wall over to this side of my dream character, and probably further on another wall over here, something like that, or some kind of monument type park type monument memorial, not memorial, but like monument kind of structures and statues and such. Uh, and I remember my character being kind of distressed, was actually kind of distressed with various things going on, and was kind of trying to race up this hill for some reason. So I was on a hill, racing up this hill for some reason, and there was this woman in a blue dress. It was a very, I'll just say, she was a very sort of voluptuous, full-figured, but very fit woman. But very powerful looking woman in this blue dress. It was a very modern blue dress, very um, but very tasteful. It was fairly tight, but not in a. It was in a very tasteful way. Um, Shaping tasteful kind of fashionable kind of way. And was coming down this path very, very calmly with a kind of, I would say, serene smile or a joyful but serene look on her face, like hey, like already, hey, everything's going to be okay kind of look. Uh, and when I got toward her, just was, for some reason, just seeing her, it started to slow me down. And then as I approached, just as I got closer to her, I was slowing down. My dream character was slowing down his pace. And as I reached her, I just stopped. just she just stopped me in my tracks, as it were. Just, this figure of this woman, this impressive, beautiful, you know, powerful kind of woman. And and she just embraced me. And that was it. I was any distress or anger or whatever it was, anxiety, uh, fears, whatever it was that was going on with the distress with my dream character, it was gone. She just embraced me. It was a very strong, not like a bear hug or anything, not like, but it was a very strong, warm, gentle, but all embracing kind of hug embrace. And like I said, that was it. Any distress I had, just like, okay, life's okay. And that was that was what was in my dream car's mind. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Like that was being kind of communicated, through to me, or that was my response to that. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And then suddenly all that distress was gone. So obviously the subjugating was here. So you just, brought me back to a more of a, a kind of, I don't know if you'd call it centered, but just a calm, undistressed, undisturbed state of mind, state of being, state of life, at that moment. And so she definitely subjugated all that, whatever was going on with my dream character, just by her presence, which definitely subjugated and sublimated or suppressed or changed all of that, definitely, you know, my charging, was turned to slow walking to just stopping and being embraced. So you can see there's a lot of Jodo Shinshu kind of in your teachings there going on, and being embraced, never to be abandoned. I just felt at that moment I would never be abandoned by this. She was like a friend. This is the feeling my dream paradise. She was like a friend, an old friend that would never abandon me, would never do me wrong, would never let anything happen to me, kind of thing. So again, the Dakini, the protective, but some very Jodo Shinshu, the idea, that the in Shinjin arising and settling, you come to know that you're embraced, never to be abandoned by Amida Buddha. So that's definitely kind of in there. So let's go over to the other article and read the so we'll go through the different aspects here. So the different attributes and elements. Yeah. So directions. So the blue um the blue Dakini is the east. Blue Vajra Dakini in the east. Which again makes sense. The medicine Buddha's in that direction, I think. And yeah, so it's the east. And the blue Dakini and the energy of the blue Dakini is predominantly mind. So she definitely subjugated my whatever was going on in the mind of my dream character at that time. The just whatever thoughts or knowledge or perceptions or whatever was going on in my mind that was causing my distress was definitely affected, altered by the presence of the blue Dakini. So mind definitely fits with that dream. Skandhas of the five Dakinis. So for the blue Dakini, blue Vajra Dakini, it's consciousness. Again, makes sense. I was, because of my consciousness I'm in distress. That's what we all are, isn't it? Because of our ignorance, we are, because our ignorance of how reality truly is, um, because our mind stream is polluted, is full of bono, and kleshas and turbid and um, ignorant. Our consciousness, our mind stream, we are distressed. We are distressed, and so yeah, that definitely comes in here in this dream, um, symbolically and experientially for me. Wisdom of the five Dakinis. So the wisdom aspect here or attribute um, for the blue Vajra Dakini is mirror-like wisdom. Mirror-like wisdom. Mirror-like wisdom. So in some sense, again, this is might be beyond me. You might have to ask my viewers for some help on tying this one into the dream. Um, where that's coming through mirror like wisdom. So obviously the mirror is a clear, clean, pristine mirror is like perfect wisdom. Mirror like, so it reflects. So, a being, or an enlightened being, an enlightened, uh, being would reflect everything else, I guess. Would you in that being, everything is perfectly reflected, um, or perfectly perceived, um, or perfectly understood. I'm not sure. So somehow that mirror-like wisdom certainly subjugated my dream character in that dream. That is for sure. It was, yeah, that one I'm not sure how to tie in. Just like with the white the white Dakini with the equanimity, I wasn't quite sure. So maybe some viewers can help me out there. All right. So then on to the green Dakini, Karma Dakini. The blue one is Vajra Dakini. So green activity, Karma Dakini. Why is green or karma dakini the supreme activity dakini? Dakinis themselves represent activity. The ultimate form of this is the dakini who combines all colors. In Tibetan symbolism, this is green. This is not only because of color mixing, but because green is the color of nature and all wholesome activities. For most of us, when we think of green, we think of Green Tara, the ultimate action hero, who is none other than Karma Dakini. Karma Dakini is in the north. So, yeah, this definitely ties into the dream I had, which of the green Dakini. It was again a beautiful woman that dressed in green, but this was again just modern, you know, very sensual, fashionable, but very tasteful. Again, the look of the clothing and the look of this woman in the dream. Um, it There was, I think there was a lot going on in this dream. We were kind of my dream character and this the green Dakini, the green woman in this woman in the green dress, as it were, in this dream was were going about a lot of different things. And there was some travel involved, I think. There was different places, different uh, rooms and houses and other types of buildings involved. Um, So lots of different kinds of activity too, from what I recall. Um, and a lot of movement, I would say. Um, so I'd say, yeah, the association with Green Tar, the ultimate action hero, definitely fits because there was a lot of action in this dream and lots of different activities. So it says it combines combines all the colors. The ultimate form of this Dakini who combines all the colors and combines all the different activities of the other Dakinis and uh, this is not because of color mixing, but because green is the color of nature and all wholesome activities. So, yeah, so I guess that fits this, the context of this dream was um, it was different activities, different places, different things, but still, yeah, the same Dakini. She, was wearing green, but we were just in a lot of different contexts. And doing a lot of different things. Um, yeah, so and yeah, I guess there was a kind of natural aspect to this. So it wasn't a very urban environment, even the buildings and structures. Now that I recall, it was more of a countryside kind of thing, or some kind of like log cabin type structures as well, out in maybe out in the woods somewhere, uh, that kind of thing. It wasn't super urban um, locations. So that kind of fits obviously with the colors, nature and things. So yeah, I think that covers that dream. So let's go to the five things. Five things. The other article on the five is them Dakinis, but the five different sections. I think it's five different sections here of the attributes and elements. So right, so directions. So obviously we said that's north, um, uh, which is very naturalistic. You think of green, you think of the beauty of I didn't tie this in, but all of these definitely correspond to the five kind of quarters in Buddhist cosmology. Um, so anyway, I won't go into that. I'll save that for when I go into the in my Lotus Pod episodes. But anyway, so yeah, it's the north, and then energies of the five Dakinis. So for green, the green Dakini, oops, it is well, just activity. The activity, the energy of the five Dakinis is activity, which or karma, which definitely there was lots of action, activity, movement going on in that dream. So that definitely fits with my encounter, my dream character with the green Dakini. Skandhas of the five wisdom Dakinis. Green karma Dakini, that's formations. Um, which that's you know the um, you know what? Let's go to just to give a good explanation of what that is, better than I can express it. Let's see if we can get encyclopedia of of the a good definition of the yeah. So I mean, it's basically goes this? What is this? Wisdom in Buddhism, the condition for formations highlights how ignorance initiates the creation of mental and physical formations, shaping experiences of suffering and pleasure, and ultimately determining karmic outcomes through the various. That's a decent explanation. So it is basically the skandhas. It is the formations are the skandhas, obviously. Um, so let me just see if we can get the let's go to the Buddhist Encyclopedia of Buddhism. Go to 20 minutes later. So samskara is translated as formation, volitional formation, conditioning factors. This term has multiple usage in Buddhism. In its most general usage, this term refers to a phenomena that has been formed, conditioned, or dependently brought into being. This term is also used to describe the second of the 12 links of dependent origination and also the fourth of the five aggregates. So, yeah, there you go. And obviously, with all that activity going on in the dream and in my mind, there was a lot of conditioning. I've got a lot of ignorance and a lot of conditioning going on. Um, because it was pretty it was just a lot. It was a lot of activity. There was a lot of different things going on in there. So I guess this it kind of fits with this. All right, let's go back to the attributes and elements again. The wisdom of the Dakini. So under the green, karma Dakini is all encompassing, which yeah, I would say so. That dream encompassed every, you know, more or less, if only symbolically, every activity under the sun. Which again, as I mentioned earlier in this episode, that in Jodo Shinju Buddhism, and I would say most of Buddhism, we don't really separate everyday life and activity from the Dharma. So, but anyway, it was definitely all encompassing. There was just every activity under the sun was and on the earth was represented in that dream. So that definitely fits. Okay, back to the main article here. So yes, so that's pretty much that section. Um, yeah, let's just see how long it goes. I'm going to go into the red. Let's go to the red now. If I covered everybody else, white, yellow, blue, green. Yeah. So we're going to go to the red, Padma Dakini. Um, okay, so on to the red Dakinis. Right, on to the red activity, Padma Dakini, or Dakinis, actually. So the more passionate red color represents the magnetizing activities and the seductive power of beauty and skillful means. The red Dakini of Amitabha's lotus family is Padma Dakini. Why is this described as magnetizing? Padma Dakini is alluring and attractive, drawing us in. She uses this skillful means of beauty and attraction to bring us into the Dharma. So, this kind of represents the whole red Padma family, the Amitabha's Padma family of Amitabha itself in the teachings. So you can't help. It's like you're just drawn, it's almost inevitable. I kind of feel, my experience of my life and my Buddhist path have been it's almost inevitable that I would be drawn to Amida Buddha, and the teachings of other power and the teachings of Jodo Shinshu and Shin Buddhism, and Pure Land Buddhism initially. It's like inevitable that I would be drawn. It's in spite of myself, I'm drawn there. It's like, everything, it's like the beautiful, you know, sunset, the beautiful red sun at the end of toward the setting sun in the west, the beauty of this, the red sunset in the west. It's it's just where everything goes at the end of the day, that's where you end up. Literally, at the end of the day, that's where you end up. So, at the end of the day, speaking figuratively, that's where I've ended up. There is something magnetizing, irresistible about Amitabha and Mita Buddha, of the the teachings about Amida Buddha and his Pure Land, and other power, and the primal vow and all of that. It's To me, it was an inevitability that I would be drawn there through Amida's working. It's just, but it's just, you're just drawn. You just are. There's not, it's definitely, that's been part of my experience on my Buddhist path. Um, so yeah, so that's the general. Now, I want to go to now the other article, because I want to discuss the, there's two, no, that's one, sorry, there's two when it comes to, the Padma family, the red, Amitabha's family of Buddhas and deities in esoteric Vajrayana Tibetan Shingon Buddhism, I guess would include it in some way. Um, Maybe not Shingon specifically as the Red Family, but anyway, you get the idea. In the teachings around the deities, the Buddhist deities of the five, no, sorry, the nine, deities of the Padma family, there's, two Dakinis, actually. And remember, I said earlier that I had two red, Dakini, um, um, related dreams. So yeah, so one of the Dakinis of the Padma family is Goya, and this is her. This is her right there on the screen. That is Goyana, sorry, Goyayana is known as, Vajra Yogini. She is the wisdom Dakini of the Padma family. So there's a bit more here about her. So on the next level, this is describing the overall image. So I'll show you. So this is the next one down, and on the next level down to the left of Great, Padma Raja is Goyayana Dakini. So see if I can find the overall picture of the whole thing. Yeah, let's see. I have a picture of the nine. So here she is. So the next level down. Yeah. So that, I'd say, to the left. So this is the overall picture, and I think this is the level here that they're talking about. Let's go back to the Dakinis. Bear with. Okay, here we go. There she is. Okay, so back to Vajra Yogini Dakini. On the next level down to the left of Great Padma Raja is Goyayana Dakini, a form of Vajra Yogini, the secret wisdom Dakini of the Padma family. Like all Padma Dakinis, She is also a Sambhogakaya of Amida, very important. Uh, in Dakini wisdom prajna form. She dances on sunyata, naked to demonstrate pure wisdom without obscurations. And that makes me think of pure wisdom without obscurations. Kind of makes me think of Amida Buddha's pure wisdom and compassion without obscuration, without any obstacles to us. It's not blocked or limited by anything. Anyway, so that's the mantra. All right, and then the other one of the two Padma Dakinis is this one here. It's on screen, and that is Kurukula. Kurukula is an emanation of red Tara, who is the activity of magnetizing in our world. It is this form is dancing on a sun disk to show her activity and power, and holds a flower bow and arrow, signifying her power to magnetize, draw in, attract, and empower. Contrary to popular belief, she is not the love goddess, other than in her aspect of an attracting and magnetizing power. Her magnetizing is focused on activities of benefit and enlightenment, indeed. And again, all of these, in one way or another, Dakinis, refer me back to Buddha, Amida, to Amida Tathagata, to Amida Buddha, to Amitabha, Amitofo, whatever. They all point me back to back to him in one way or another, and literally are manifestations of the Padma, the keys anyway, are manifestations of Amitabha. But anyway, yeah, so Kuru Kula, red Tara, closest to our world, another very, Amida Buddha, you know, is reaches everywhere. Amida Buddha's light, working power reaches everywhere. And so it's, closest to our world. I think, of all the Buddhas, Amida Buddha is closest to us all, is the closest, is the nearest, is the most accessible, is the most dear, the most needed by most being, or by all ordinary beings. But anyway, so, and again, describing this, so this is in the bottom left of the cloud of blessings is Kurukula. So that's in the kind of lower left corner in that picture I was showing you earlier. So the bottom kind of level. The famous enchanting, enlightened form of Tara with her bow and arrows, bow and arrow of flowers. Like all Taras, although she is a Sambhogakaya, heavenly form, she is very close to our world. This is why all Taras are called swift heroines, ready to respond to our calls for help. Again, very referencing of Amida Buddha's call, hearing Amida Buddha's call and our desperate pleas for, when we realize our karmic situation. Anyway, she is lower in the cloud to signify our closeness to our world. In this case, the activity of red Kurukula Tara is magnetizing power, as symbolized by her lotus bow drawn back with a powerful magnetizing arrow, kind of like the Cupid's arrow, kind of referencing there. Kind of I think there's some borrowing from of this in in that symbolism of Cupid's arrow. But again, it's not that kind of love that we're talking about here. The Cupid love. Anyway, she is also naked and dancing to signify pure wisdom without obscurations. So, Yes. So the two dreams I had were one, the two dreams of red Dakini I had was one where I think it might have been the same wall that I was talking about in the other dream, but it was a separate dream. It was definitely a separate dream, but I think it was related to that wall that was in the dream, the other dream I had about the blue bikini, that wall that was off to the left of my dream character in the distance. I think it was that wall in this other dream that I had. And so my dream character was in that park, I guess, again. And it was very dark at night. It was nighttime in the dream. So it was, beautiful, clear sky, the void above the clear sky. So all the stars and the heavens. So it was a bright, but, it was night, definitely nighttime. And the wall was out there. And then the wall looked very, um, distant, but in the end, it's my dream character. It didn't take long for him to get there somehow, and so and I was just toward the wall. Before I say that, actually, before I get to where he's going through the wall, um, I saw in the distance this figure of a woman in a red dress. Again, very tasteful type, but it was form-fitting type dress, but very tasteful kind of dress. And she was dancing by the wall. And so my dream character couldn't help but notice there's this, in the middle of this nighttime, and there wasn't really this time in the other dream, the blue Dakini dream I had, there was lots of other people around in that park, but this was at nighttime, so there wasn't anybody around. And I'm walking along, and all of a sudden, my dream character is walking along, and all of a sudden, and again, I was heading in the same direction. Actually, I was heading in the same direction. Um, and I don't remember any particular state of mind or, anything. I think I was just kind of, chilling, just kind of relaxed and walking along through the park, nighttime walk type of thing. And I'm walking around, suddenly notice, there's this woman in a red dress out in the middle of this whole thing, nobody around in a red dress dancing over toward that ancient wall. So I couldn't kind of help but notice. And that's when it seemed like I was just kind of drawn over there. Um, so I said it was really distant, but it didn't seem like it took me long to get there somehow. It was very, like I said, that wall was very distant from where I was on that path, but it just didn't seem like it took long at all for me to get there. And I got to this dancing figure in the red dress, and um, the the closer I got, the more she kind of receded a bit. And I bet it was the more that meant that was the more I was kind of drawn to kind of toward her, and she kind of faded into the wall, and the wall then became this kind of void blackness. This kind of just, and that was it. It just kind of faded into black, fade to black, kind of thing. And that was kind of the end of the dream. So that was one dream, and then the other dream, and you know, so yeah. So anyway, so that was the one dream, and then the other dream, I was in this uh, red room. It was kind of predominantly red kind of room, and it was like very modern kind of, but not modern in the sense of like retro modern kind of decor, kind of red, like 60s, 70s, ultra modern at the time. That kind, you know what I'm saying? Almost futuristic, retro futuristic looking red furnishings and red countertops and red, that kind of like almost like futuristic, something futuristic that would look like if it was depicted in the 60s, something like that. Um, kind of thing. And And in this room was this woman who was in it, wasn't in a red dress. She was in a, she was dressed like an enchantress, like very enchanting kind of woman. And like, or fashions, I should say. So it wasn't, she kind of looked like a rocker, actually. She looked like a female, you know, rock vocalist kind of thing. Not really an enchantress in this in the way that Stevie Nicks, not really, not Stevie Nicks, not Gypsy enchantress, but more like they were kind of almost like a leather. It was like it wasn't almost. It was like leather. It was like a leather kind of garb. It was a dress, but it was also like just different, you know, like straps and what do you call it? Like just different leather pieces to it, and it kind of looked like. So it looked like it was almost like a magic, kind of like a modern futuristic enchantress black, a witch dressed in black would look like if she was like, if somebody depicted her in the 60s in a futuristic context, that she was this enchantress looking with this leather garb dress kind of on, with like, that had like little, kind of magical symbols and that kind of stuff woven into the leathers that she was wearing. So almost kind of like bit biker, bit a bit rocker, bit enchantress kind of thing, futuristic, kind of thing. As like I said, retro futuristic. And again, so we're in this. It was I think it was a giant, a large room that we were in, and I was kind of really, drawn toward her and was really energized by her. Like the closer I got, the more energized I was. Um, um, uh, and invigorated, energized and invigorated and uh, sort of moved, made stronger, felt just, endorphin, like rush kind of thing. So adrenaline and endorphin rush all at once in a really Zen kind of way, I guess you could say. So and that was pretty much that dream. So it was interesting. You had, the first dream, the one of the keys, she faded to black. Was very magnetized by her presence and wisdom, and when it faded to black. And then the other one was in a red, came out, it was kind of in a red room dressed in black, so the enchantress. And that's why when I looked into this further, at first I thought, was that the black Dakini? But the more I kind of looked into what was going on in the dream and everything, the more I saw that there's this enchantress kind of aspect to Kurukula. So I think the first dream was was Vajra Yogini, and the second dream was Kurukula, um, Dakini. So yeah, so that's it. That was all my Dakini dreams so far. And like I say, I think this is all the working and uh, direction of Amida through these Dakinis, through these deities. Um, and that, and it's all under his aegis. That's kind of how I see it, is the working of Amida somehow in these ways that I can't understand all this. I can't understand the workings of all this in my life. It's inconceivable. I can discuss it on some level, like I am, and read things, articles and things about it, but it's all the working of Amida. It's the all of the influence and working and light of Amida and empowerment of Amida and enabling of Amida. through my dreams. This is happening, and I attribute it all to Amida. So yeah, there you go. That's my Dakini dreams and a little discussion of the Dakini. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you thank you for listening. And yeah, until next time. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namo, Namo. All right. Take care. All the best.